sees the means of production, and the like and subscribe button.
Beautiful shot there from Earth Cam at 1 Vanderbilt, looking north Midtown Manhattan across Central Park. It has been so rainy here in New York. I think this is our first nice day since 2021. Welcome back. The first debate of the
actual socialist or just social democrat. Well, you can't do socialism just via policy as a mayor. I think he's actually a socialist. It's very clear based on the stuff that he wants to do that he's not like a social democrat in the sense of, well, everything would be fine if we just kept the system as it is, but ticked up the welfare or whatever, you know? Obviously, his policies are socially democratic, but you can't, like, snap your finger and do socialism, right?
New York City mayoral Democratic primary will be held this Wednesday. 9 candidates in the crowded field have qualified to take the stage, including former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, who is looking to make his political comeback in this race. Joining us now,
after leaving in disgrace for sexually harassing many, many women and killing a bunch of elderly people and generally being a corrupt piece of shit. Thank you.
New York City Assemblyman and one of the candidates for New York City Mayor, Zohran Mamdani. Assemblyman, thank you so much.
That's all you want to say? One of the candidates, not second runner-up socialist who's been surging in the polls, who's now essentially neck and neck with Cuomo? That's the lead-in. Just one of the guys, you know.
Being here this morning. Your candidacy has truly served.
Sorry, if it seems like I'm hypersensitive, by the way, to like any perceived slight against him, it's because I'm very familiar with the tiny little ways that mainstream media tries to stomp on anything that threatens its hegemony. You know, like it's just you develop a sense for these things. It's like the way they talk about Israel versus Palestinians or whatever, where all these like subtle little framing devices, you have to look out for them because they add up to a lot.
It is a crowded field, as just noted. For a few months now, you've been pretty firmly lodged in second place, a gap that was once about 30 to 40 points behind Cuomo, now down to about 9 or 10. So still, a deficit, but smaller than it was. But as voters start to get to know you, they know Andrew Cuomo. What's your pitch?
You know, I tell them what they already know, which is that we live in the most expensive city in the United States of America. And it's a city that used to be one of dreams that is now just one of struggle. And we're seeing 1 in 4 New Yorkers living in poverty and so many living in this permanent state of anxiety. And this is a campaign looking to make the city affordable for the very working class New Yorkers who built it, who today are
Please fix the hair. Dude, having a few stray hairs like coming out from your hairdo is hot. What are you talking about? Fix the hair?
Pushed out of it.
So a lot of that sounds familiar to what Mayor Bill de Blasio ran on in 2013. A tale of two cities was his slogan, suggesting that it was unaffordable for most. What makes you think, what are your concrete plans that are going to be successful when perhaps some of your predecessors were not?
Well, de Blasio was better than Cuomo. I mean, sorry, I should say, if you compare mayoral and governmental record, I guess if you took what Cuomo represented as governor and made him mayor, like, you know, I'd certainly take Bill de Blasio over Cuomo. But yeah.
You know, we've sketched it out because what New Yorkers deserve is a plan that actually speaks to the crisis in their lives. And affordability is the #1 crisis. So we're going to freeze the rent for more than 2 million New Yorkers who live in rent-stabilized housing. We're going to make the slowest buses in the nation fast and free. And we're going to deliver universal child care to each and every New Yorker, whether their child is 6 weeks or 5 years of age. Because today, child care is the #2 reason people are leaving our city. And it makes sense. It costs $25,000 a year to raise a kid here, which is more money than it would cost to send that same kid to CUNY 18 years later.
So the Working Families Party, which has certainly credentials.
If Zohran wins, how big of a target will the Trump admin put in his back? The biggest black pill possible, the biggest one you could imagine, would be if Trump like wages war against New York City over this, because Trump, like, it would be a big spectacle, right? If Zohran Mamdani won, and then Trump is like, oh, well, we don't want no socialist running an American city, and Trump attacks them, and the Democrats don't back Zohran up. That would be the biggest black pill, essentially, if they just left him out to rot as like a de facto third-party New York City mayor, you know? Yeah, not to mention what the NYPD is going to do to him.
On the left released its ranked endorsements of candidates. You were atop that just the other day, and it is ranked choice voting for this coming primary. But what do you say, though, to Democrats who look at what we saw in November with Vice President Harris losing? And a lot of the post-game analysis, if you will, was the party had moved too far to the left, that it was actually time to come back to the center a little bit, to connect to a lot of those working-class blue-collar voters who have broken for Trump in recent cycles. That seems to be what Governor Cuomo is saying. What do you say to people who say, well...
Yeah, man, Cuomo is definitely standing up for the blue collar working class family. That's true. It's very demonstrable in his AI written policy booklet. That's true.
I like the guy, but he's not right for this moment. He's too lefty.
Well,
remember how I said, by the way, that there was going to be a push from some Democratic operatives to frame themselves as the real, like, Bernie Sanders down-to-earth working class guys, and all you have to do to get that is to abandon those highfalutin lefty progressive ideals. Remember how I said they did the exact opposite against Bernie in 2016, where they were like, you know, how is Medicare for all going to fix racism? You know, identity politics, identity politics, identity politics. And now they're going to cynically go the other direction. They're going to say, well, actually, you know, all that id poll crap you people are polling is what lost us the election. We need to go back to our roots of being pro-working class. How do we do that? I don't know. We'll give cops higher salaries or something. By blue collar, Cuomo means the blue collar of a police uniform.
I think we as politicians need to lecture less and listen more. And when we saw New York have the greatest swing towards Trump in the entire nation, 11.5 points, we saw that it took place in the hearts of immigrant New York. And so I went there to Fordham Road in the Bronx, Hillside Avenue in Queens. I asked those voters, why did they vote for him? And they told me they remembered having more money in their pocket 4 years ago. I asked them what it would take to bring them back to the Democratic Party. They said a relentless focus on an economic agenda. And when I told them my plan to freeze the rent, make buses fast and free, deliver universal child care, they said that they would vote for me. And I think ultimately that's what we need, is a recognition that for too long our party has moved away from working class voters. It's time we actually bring them back, and it's time we do so with an agenda that is not only urgent but possible. It's just a question of political will.
So let's turn to public safety now. Any New York City mayor, that's a top priority. Giuliani, Bloomberg, de Blasio, the like. Mayor Adams ran on that first centrally 4 years ago. What is your relationship? What is your plan for policing, including there are some who suggest that, you know, you're perhaps not supportive enough of the police department?
You know, I've been very...
Always necessary, by the way. Love that framing, you know. Suggesting that the police aren't just a tool of the government to enforce the law, but rather a separate, like, political block that must be appeased, much like how the Medici family has to, like, simultaneously balance the interests of the mercantile, like, merchant lords along with the clergy. Like, oh, well, with, you know, democracy. No, actually, every vote from a cop is worth 20 votes from a regular person.
Clear, which is that police have a critical role to play in creating public safety. And when I speak to those officers on the beat, I hear a frustration from them that we're asking them to do more than just focus on serious crimes. We're asking them to do the work of mental health professionals and social workers. And that reliance on having them deal with almost every failure of the social safety net is making it impossible for them to tackle those crimes. And so that's why we have put forward a proposal to create a Department of Community Safety
yeah, for sure.
that would focus on the mental health crisis, that would focus on gun violence, hate crimes, and ensure that we allow police to do their jobs and we hire mental health professionals to do the work that they are best suited to do.
And we've been talking all morning about this incident yesterday in Boulder, Colorado, where some elderly...
This would be where it first comes up, of course.
Mostly Jewish residents were...
Hey, person who is running for mayor in New York City, what do you have to say about this attack that took place on the opposite side of the country? I'm going to tie it to you because you're, like, not on board with Palestinian children, so I'm going to assume you endorse this.
Holding a peaceful march, just asking for hostages to come home from Gaza. They were attacked by a man with a makeshift flamethrower. It is just the latest in a rise of anti-Semitic violent incidents across the country. New York City, of course, home to by far the largest Jewish population in the United States. What is your message to those voters, to Jewish residents of New York City who feel for their safety? Why should they trust you at the helm?
You know, I hear them, and I hear that fear when I speak to Jewish people.
Bet you Cuomo's not going to get this question, by the way. Not that Cuomo ever does interviews or whatever, because he's just coasting on his name recognition, but I bet you he's not getting this question.
New Yorkers across the city.
Anyone asking Cuomo, why should women working for the New York City mayor's office trust you after all of those harassment accusations? No one's asking him that, even though it's the most obvious question in the world. That's not even a joke. You have any idea how corrupt our media is, that no one's bringing that up? The people who condemned him when he was governor aren't bringing it up, talking about him as a mayoral candidate.
And ultimately, Jewish New Yorkers deserve to be protected. They deserve to be safe. And as the next mayor of the city, that's what I will do.
Isn't he under investigation? He's under investigation by the DOJ because if Cuomo wins, the Trump administration wants to blackmail him with that investigation the same way they did for Adams. That's the only reason why. It has nothing to do with, like, his actual... like, Cuomo has essentially signaled to the Trump administration that he's willing to be an agent for them, and Trump has agreed. Trump's literally spoken positively of... You have any idea what Trump and Cuomo were saying about each other back during Trump's first term? Now, suddenly, inexplicably, Trump is being kind of chummy with Cuomo. I wonder why.
And I've heard, especially when we speak about anti-Semitism, how do we go beyond just talking about it? How do we actually tackle it? And that's why at the heart of that proposal to create a Department of Community Safety is a commitment to increase funding for anti-hate crime programming.
What happened to Eric Adams? Is he still in the race? He kind of disappeared after the blackmail. I mean, he's currently the mayor, but he basically guaranteed a loss by running as independent. My guess is that the Republican Party told him to run again against sort of his protests because he doesn't like the situation he's in, where he's up against a rock and a hard place. So he ran as independent, thus guaranteeing his loss, but still kind of like technically pantomiming the behavior of maintaining his presence in the race, right? Even though there's no chance whatsoever. But no, the Trump administration blackmailed him. They're doing the same thing to Cuomo.
By 800%, the very programming we've seen be effective at countering the rise in these kinds of attacks.
All right, certainly a fascinating race. The primary just a few weeks away. Candidate for New York City Mayor, Selvan Zoran Mamdani. Selvan, thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me.
That's great. No time to ask him about his policies, really, but plenty of time to ask him about a flamethrower attack 4 hours ago in Colorado. The question is, if Trump attacks him and the Democrats won't defend him, what allies will he have left? Ideally, the people of New York City. I don't know if you saw this Zoran clip with a crazy ambush interviewer, but he's a masterclass in media training, the best showing I've seen from him.
Shit. Zorhan!
Thank you.
Zorhan, don't do this shit!
Zorhan!
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 Fucking influencer in the city. What do you think about me storming the mayoral forums? Are you mad? Are you mad at me?
I'm not mad.
What do you think about it? You think I'm clout chasing? You think I'm annoying? what do you think? Come on.
I think you might be. I don't know who the fuck you are or what you're talking about. I think you're being a little annoying, to be honest with you.
Give me a real
I think
answer.
the first time I was scared because I did not know who you were.
And now you know who I am.
And now I expect you at the forums.
Okay, good. And what are your other candidates saying? Are they hating me?
I think they also expect you at this point.
Oh, great. So Zorhan, who the fuck are you?
He is so good, dude. Genuinely. The fact that he's maintaining a smile and like kind of like jovially talking with her in spite of her trying to get a rise out of him, unfucking believable how good he is. I mean it. Every time I see this guy, I don't think he's like he might be more than 1 in a million politically. He might be more than that. I mean, genuinely, he has like in the long arc of his career, considering how young he is, he could be anything that he wanted. I mean, he could, if he built the power, he could be president. He's so good at this.
Who the fuck are you? Who the fuck? Because you just came out of nowhere and we're like, who the fuck are you?
So I'm a state assembly member.
Okay.
I represent Victoria, Long Island State.
Okay.
I was elected in 2020, took office in 2021.
Okay.
And
I haven't seen this kind of charisma since Obama. The difference with Obama, apart from the fact that policy-wise he sucks compared to Zoran, the difference is that I always got this feeling whenever you see him interact casually with normal people that he feels contemptuous towards them. He has this like Harvard law jock like contempt for people lesser than him that he masks very well, but I think you can see it. Not always, but especially when he's interacting in like unprompted conversations, he very, very clearly thinks he's better than the people he's talking to, which, to be fair, he probably is smarter than most people he talks to, but it does read a little bit. Maybe Zoran feels that way, but it does not read that way, you know? I also don't know how many people really saw that in Obama, in my opinion. I don't think this is interaction with a normal person. This person recording is some weirdo TikTok girl who went on Piers Morgan dressed in a diaper. I'll put it this way. If Obama was a city councilman responding to this lady, I don't think that he would be laughing along with her. I think he would do this, all right, well, it was nice talking to you. Now I really need to get going, and do like a bit of a smile wave kind of thing. I think this is the kind of situation that he would like look to avoid. You know what I mean?
right now I am running on a platform to make New York City more affordable.
Okay, Jordan, what are you gonna do for black people? What are you gonna do for the niggas?
What we're seeing...
Black trannies, people like me, annoying in their underwear, what are you gonna do?
Look, every single person in this city deserves to afford to call this city their home. And
Okay.
what we've seen in a crisis of inequality, where 1 in 4 New Yorkers are in poverty, where 500,000 children are going to bed hungry, is that
Okay.
there's a disproportionate impact on black New Yorkers. From 2010 to 2019, we saw nearly 20%
Okay.
decline in the population of black children and teenagers, and
Okay.
that's because of how expensive we made this city. We are losing the fabric of...
Lock the fuck in, man. Jesus Christ. He didn't even flinch.
what we love about this city.
Okay.
And we need to make sure that for black New Yorkers who want to raise their kids here,
Yep.
this is the most affordable and easiest place to do so, because right now, that's not the case.
Okay, Jordan, would you f me?
No.
Are you married?
Yes.
Who are you married to? A white woman, Latina, Arab?
She's Arab.
And what are you? Are you Arab, Indian? What are you? You look ambiguous. You look weird. You look weird. What the fuck are you?
I'm an Indian, Ugandan, New Yorker.
Okay, so you're African American. So would you claim the African American status like Elon Musk?
No, I would not.
Why
claim that
not?
status.
You're African, but you're African, right? I knew you grew up there.
I am.
Your
I'm
middle
proud.
name is Kwame.
I am. I'm proud to be Ugandan. But,
Okay.
But I think that is misleading.
And were the Indian Ugandans colonialists, or did you come happy? Did you come to f up, or did you come in peace?
This is harassment? Yeah, it was from the beginning.
We came in peace.
And I know your father's a
My
professor.
father's a professor. My family came from Gujarat to Uganda about 200 years ago.
So the caste system, what are you? Like Brahmin? Are you like under? Are you like?
Oh, dude, she's got knowledge. Okay, she came prepared. Oh, what was that green text like when you meet a professional racist who learns more about other cultures so they can be more racist? The guy who was like be me, black at frat party. Guy makes jokes about my skin, makes clicking noises at me. I say, I bet you don't even know where the f I'm from, white boy. And the white guy looks me up and down and says, yeah, you're Eritrean. He's right.
Untouchable. What are you? You look a little light skinned.
I'm somewhere in the middle.
Okay, so you're a piece of shit. And where you at? Where you from? Do you have a beef? Like, why should we tell us why the f should we vote for you? Because when I saw you, I'm like, f this dude.
Look, I appreciate that. That's how many New Yorkers feel about politicians in general, because they've been left behind.
And I see you're raising money. You raised $8 million. You told everybody stop.
Don't send us more money.
How about me? How can I be like you? Because I think when I saw you running, I was like, I should be running. Because who the f are you?
Well, we're going to almost the same number of forums, so you kind of are running.
Exactly. You're like, who the f are you? Where are you going?
Dude, he's so good. Okay. Sorry. Just a phenomenal testament to his ability to keep cool in situations like this, you know? A generational talent. I'm very, very excited. This is, and I'm not kidding, if he builds like a political movement, he could be like the next guy the FBI kills through COINTELPRO. You know? They got Fred Hampton, probably got MLK, Malcolm X, you know, they took him out via former members of the party. But you know, I'm just saying, like, that's it's like the CIA badge of journalism, which is shaped like a 9mm bullet, or badge of excellence in journalism. You know, like, you know that you're a real civil rights leader when the FBI sicks their agents on you. J. Edgar Hoover would have already gotten this guy. That is true. If Hoover was still on the beat and the FBI wasn't slacking, if it wasn't for those dang Doge cuts, we used to be a real country. He tried to get an interview with Cuomo. I'm guessing he didn't engage.
Cuomo! Rape me, Cuomo! Come on, sexually harass me, Cuomo! Come on, Cuomo! Sexually harass me, Cuomo! Come on, Cuomo! Come on, put it in my pussy! What the fuck is wrong with you, dude?
Stay out of property.
Cuomo! Come rape me! Come on, Cuomo! Come rape me, Cuomo!
All right, she had me on the fence with the last one. This one's gold. This is more journalistic integrity from her than anyone who's interviewed Cuomo thus far.
Cuomo! Monica Lewinsky, put the cigar in my... Put the cigar in my... Cuomo! Cuomo! Put the cigar in my pussy, Cuomo! Come on, Cuomo! Put the cigar in my pussy! My pussy, Cuomo! Okay, we got him. Yo, what the fuck is wrong with that nigga?
No kidding, right?
Come on, Cuomo! Sexually harassed!
Yeah, maybe the FBI is going after her next. She's too powerful. As a European, U.S. elections seem very weird. No, I have to say, I feel like, if anything, she's bringing, like, European vibe. Because in America, journalism is when one wealthy sits across a desk from another wealthy and they both talk about the press briefing that they shared beforehand. And in Europe, I feel like there's a little more adversarial engagement with the journalists and the politicians. So I feel like, you know, if anything, this might be, yeah, exchange children, actually. True. Especially Cuomo, yeah. In Germany, the media also despises the left. The media despises the left everywhere.